know I'm a little bit late here. I'm sorry. I just wrapped up a call with Stephanie. She's currently doing our 16-week program in CMW. Awesome chat with her. I am here live now to discuss the good, the bad, and the truth about macronutrients. So comment below if you are watching me live, if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because I feel like a lot of people have come into our group recently because I've been talking more about macronutrients on my Facebook, and people have been coming to the group to learn more. So comment in the chat here right now if you are someone who has experience counting macronutrients, maybe you're currently counting your macros, or you're just here because you want to learn about macronutrients. You want to learn exactly what are they? Should you be tracking them? How many of each thing you should be eating? Is this a good weight loss strategy? Is it a good maintenance strategy? And just literally give you the 411 on macronutrients. So I'd love to know if you're watching me live right now, or even if you're watching the replay, comment below with your specific questions that you have about macronutrients, just so I can make sure that I answer your questions. But again, I do have my whole discussion already also planned regarding the good, the bad, and the truth about macronutrients, because for me, education is key. Right? And information doesn't lead to transformation without accountability and support. And this is why in CMW, we're all about making sure people have the right support in order to actually follow through with their nutrition plan, their fitness plan, and they have the right mindset to make sure they're consistent. All right. But today I'm here to educate you. My background is in education. A lot of you guys know I'm a sports nutritionist. I'm a personal trainer. I am an emotional eating expert. I am the founder of Create My Weight. And I am extremely passionate about education. And I'm here to educate you today on macronutrients. So let's go ahead and jump right into this topic, okay? So there are, in fact, 4 macronutrients, right? So I want to make that very clear because I feel like a lot of people believe there's only 3 macronutrients, right? There's protein, there's fat, and there's carbohydrates. But there's a 4th one, which I'm going to explain here in a moment. I'm going to keep you in suspense a little bit. But the first one I'm going to talk about, and this is the one I get the most questions about, is protein. Okay, protein is incredibly important for a number of things, right? Number one, it's important for your bone density, right? It's important for your joints. It's super important for recovery, especially if you are strength training or any kind of movement in general. Okay, protein is what is going to keep you strong and also healthy. Okay, and if you have a good gut health, all right, your gut actually recycles and reuses, right, 20% of the protein you consume. That's how important protein is. Your body truly wants to hold on to protein, right, because we need it for our bodily functions. So getting enough protein is tremendously important. And oftentimes I hear people say that they're not getting enough protein. They do these macro calculators online and they're like, oh my God, I'm not getting enough protein, holy moly. And if you guys ever notice, you do like 3 different macro calculators, you're going to get 3 different readings of how much protein you should get. But what I'm here to tell you today is exactly how much protein you should be consuming, whether your goal is just to be healthy and live a long life, like what's the minimum amount of protein you should be getting, or if you are actively strength training, or let's say you're a runner of some sort, and you're breaking down muscle mass, like what is the minimum amount of protein that you should be getting for healthy bodily function and recovery. All right, so you want to make sure you write this down, okay? So get out a pen and paper, get out your cell phone, get out a note, write this down. So for health and longevity, the minimum amount of protein you want to consume, the range is 0.34 to 0.36. So I usually tell clients 0.35 times per pound of body weight, okay? So let's say I'm 140 pounds. I don't even know. I haven't weighed myself in a year. But 0.35 times your body weight. That is the minimum amount of protein you should consume. Okay, that's just to maintain your muscle mass. There are so many studies coming down the pipeline now that show the importance of skeletal muscle mass for longevity. So even if you're not weight training, you don't care about looking tone and fit, doesn't matter. I highly recommend you strength train, but again, if it helps your goal, 0.35 times your body weight. Now, this number comes from several places, but one of my favorite sources actually comes from Dr. Walter Longo. He is the founder of one of the longevity institutes in California. He's actually the founder of the Prolong diet. Now, if you've ever heard of the Prolong diet, it's this like 5-day fast mimicking diet. And yes, there are so many health benefits to fasting, right? But what I specifically love about his book, which is called The Longevity Diet, is all about how too much protein can be counterproductive, right? So this is why if you see these macro calculators that are saying you need 130 grams of protein or 200 grams of protein, like WTF, that's insane. I can't even eat that much protein in a day, okay? So the minimum is 0.35 times your body weight for health and longevity. The next number you want to hear is this, and this is according to sports nutrition. All right, that's my background. Any certification you get in sports nutrition, right? This, if you have any trainer that has any background knowledge in sports nutrition, this is the number they're going to teach you. This is what all the textbooks teach us. The number is 0.6 to 0.8 times the body weight. Okay, so I usually just say 0.7. 0.7 times your body weight. All right, so write down what that number would be for you. Okay, 0.7 times your body weight. That's like what you should be getting minimum if you are strength training and you want to build muscle mass. Because when you weight train, you break down muscle, protein, the amino acids, that's going to build back the muscle. And that's when you see gains. Therefore, I like to teach clients to have a range. So the minimum is 0.35. The maximum, or the upper end, which is where most people should be on a day-to-day basis, is 0.7. Okay. And so that number seems much more doable than these other crazy numbers. I was talking to someone earlier today that she was like, well, someone told me I should be eating 130 grams of protein. Now, is eating 130 grams of protein terrible for your health and longevity? I mean, it depends on what kind of protein you're consuming. 130 grams is not always equal. It depends where you're getting your protein sources from. That's another conversation. So again, it's not the worst thing in the world. What I do find problematic about that number is it seems incredibly unattainable, and then people feel like they're never going to get the results that they need. Comment if you've felt that way before. I mean, let's say I weigh 140 pounds. There are some macro calculators out there that say you need a gram per pound of body weight. There are some other coaches out there. There are lots of people that are claiming to have a background in nutrition say that that's the number. And again, if you are in good health, your body is going to recycle what percentage, who remembers, what percentage of the protein you consume? 20%. That's a lot. That's if you're in good gut health, right? Love teaching gut health in CMW. All right, so that's protein, okay? And so one of the good things about tracking your macronutrients or understanding macronutrients is it raises awareness. So like if you're tracking your food, for example, and you notice like, okay, like I'm having Greek yogurt for breakfast and it has X amount of protein in it. And then I'm having a chicken breast for lunch, and that's usually 24, 26 grams of protein in it right there. Okay, I've had about 45 grams of protein. Good, I'm almost halfway to my goal, or I'm almost at my minimum for the day. Like, again, it raises awareness. But again, like, and I'll talk about this more with the bad, is not something to obsess about, because the most important thing about understanding macronutrients is, again, just understanding nutrition for your body. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about today as well. Okay, so that's protein. The next macronutrient is going to be fats, okay? Fats are incredibly important for a number of things. Your hormone balance, your brain function, all right? Overall, just like energy as well, your moods. And again, your brain is made of mostly lipids, right? And fat is a form of a lipid, or I guess vice versa. So it's important that you do eat fats in the diet. Now, a lot of bodybuilders, right, they're gonna focus on high protein, high carb, uber low fat, right? Especially if you're trying to lean out, because fat is 9 calories per gram, right? So while protein is 4 calories per gram, fat is 9 calories per gram. So it's over double how many calories you're getting in some protein. So there are a lot of diets that will significantly cut fat because of how calorically dense it is, right? However, for a really well-rounded, healthy diet, it's important not just to eat all the macronutrients, but it's also important to get good quality fat sources. Right? And that's something we teach in CMW as well. Like, well, what are good quality fat sources? How much should I have of them? When should I eat them? Where do I get them? How do I prepare them? What oils are best to cook with? Or blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of where we help people. And that really just depends on the person and their goals, their activity levels. Like, we actually have 3 clients we're working with right now in CMW that have PCOS. Right? And so one of the things in PCOS is you want to definitely minimize inflammatories in your diet. And so really cutting out those inflammatory oils is key. However, if you're consuming better quality oils, that still might not help with your weight loss goal, because again, oil is 9 calories per gram. So we try to we do teach them that balance of, well, how much oil should I be consuming? What about other fats in my diet? Is avocado okay? What about good forms of dairy, right? So that's something we do teach on a more specific basis. But fats are important in the body. Now, if you have been someone who has been on a low carb diet, you have been consuming way more fats, because fat, when you deprive your body of carbohydrates, your body is going to burn fat next. Okay, fat becomes the main fuel source. And a lot of people who dramatically cut carbohydrates, they say that they feel amazing on the ketogenic diet, because there are a lot of people that share that actually fats are the body burns it cleaner, right? That it's a better fuel source. I have mixed feelings about that, right? Again, I think everyone's different. If you're a super active person, like, I am, for example, carbs are a tremendously important fuel source, but both fats and carbohydrates are important. So I always say this, I've said this for years now, that eating all the macronutrients is important. Okay, so I talked about fats. The next macronutrient is carbs. Okay, carbs are important. Like I said, carbs are the #1 fuel source in the body, right? The body is going to digest those and process those first. Right? Or that's the body's preferred fuel source, the most natural fuel source. Carbs are 4 calories per gram, right? So that's why if you are like significantly trying to lean out, high protein, high carb has always been like a way to go, just because of the low caloric density, right? However, like I mentioned, just eating chicken and sweet potato or chicken and broccoli, yes, veggies have carbs in them, FYI, can get super freaking boring and not healthy at all. So carbs are key. It's also important to time carbs properly, right? Because again, like if we're not a super active person, having tons of carbs in your diet might not be optimal for your goals. But we can't deprive your body of carbohydrates, because that's not a sustainable way of being, right? So again, it really does come down to your activity level and your specific goals of how many carbs you're consuming on a regular basis. All right. Also, what kind of carbs you're consuming. In CMW, I love to talk about purposeful carbs, right? So carbs that also have protein, fiber, or both in them. So you're getting not just the macronutrient of protein, you're getting a micronutrient, which is fiber. Okay. So carbs, #3 macronutrient. Who knows what #4 is? Does anyone know what #4 macronutrient is? I don't know if you're going to guess it. It's alcohol. Alcohol. And if you see me post in CMW or on my Instagram, wherever, I love wine. I actually like Prosecco better, tequila here and there, and we believe in food freedom. But alcohol is the 4th macronutrient. And the problem with alcohol is, #1, your body looks at alcohol as a toxin, okay? So there's actually an order of operations in which your body processes these macronutrients, okay? So if you're just consuming, let's say you're eating a meal and you're just consuming protein, fat, and carb, those are the 3 main macronutrients, there's an order of operations. So the carb is the first macronutrient your body's going to process, right? So your body's going to naturally spare the protein. Your body always wants to spare protein, and it's going to spare the fat, okay? Now, if you're just eating fats and protein, your body's going to burn the fat first and spare the protein. Okay, so that's good, right? That's also, you're sparing protein there. But now let's throw the 4 macronutrients in: alcohol, carb, fat, protein. If you're eating all 4 at the same time, so you go to dinner, have a glass of wine, bowl of pasta, whatever, your body's going to get rid of the alcohol first, because your body's like, this is not good for me, the liver's going to excrete it. So then then it's going to store everything else. All right. So here's something about alcohol, guys. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram. right? So it's more caloric. But the issue with this macronutrients, not so much the calories, it's actually still less than fat. Fat is 9 calories per gram. Alcohol is not just a toxin, but it affects your hormone levels, right? So it's actually going to increase your estrogen, which is your fat storing hormone, and it's going to lower your testosterone, which is your muscle creating hormone. So that's more of the issue with alcohol. But you guys, here I am saying food freedom. You can still have wine, still live your life, and still be fit and healthy relatively. Some of the best, longest living civilizations in the world do drink wine. So I'm not here to tell you never to drink again, but is it a health food? Not so much, depending on how much you consume. But anyway, that's the fourth macronutrient. Okay, so it absolutely is possible to reach your goals by eating all of the macronutrients. Okay, so I want to talk to you now about the good about understanding macronutrients. I'm not talking about counting macros. If you've seen me talk before, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, well, I don't love counting macros, but understanding macronutrients is key because it's really key to understand where your nutrition is coming from. When I have clients track their protein, their carbs, their fats, they will notice, wow, I'm not getting enough protein. Wow, I'm getting way too much fat. Wow, I'm getting too many carbs. And then they know where to tweak, right? Or if they're going to eat more, let's say they're going out to dinner, right? And they're going to have like mac and cheese and fried chicken. I don't know, whatever they want to have, right? Well, if I'm going to be having all this carbs, right? We got carbs in the breading, we got carbs in the pasta, right? And then we're having oil in the fried chicken and cheese and probably butter, and, for the other part of the meal. That's a lot of fats and carbs right there. So maybe earlier in the day, I shouldn't be eating so many. Now, that's being aware. That's not counting macronutrients. And there's a huge difference. Comment below if you've counted macronutrients and it's stressed you out. Okay? It's just stressful. Well, and especially if you're eating out, it's hard to count macronutrients because you don't really know how many, just because you put in mac and cheese in your MyFitnessPal doesn't mean that your exact mac and cheese at a restaurant is going to be the macros and the craft you put on your app, right? So the good thing about macros is it's important to eat all of them, number one. Minimize alcohol, obviously. But number two, all of them serve a key role in your bodily function. And the best diets have the most variety, and the best diets include all the macronutrients. I guarantee you, if you deprive yourself, cut out one of the macronutrients completely, you will plateau at some point. Because when you eat the same thing over and over again, you're going to plateau. It always happens. I was telling a client this earlier. It's great to have routine. It's great to eat similar things, but you got to change it up as well. Okay? So the good thing of macros is when you understand how they work and why they're important, you feel empowered, right? The problem with macronutrients is everyone wants to micromanage them, okay? There is not, and I hate to break this to you guys, there is not one secret formula, one exact macronutrient count. Well, if I eat 130 grams of protein, 200 grams of carbs, 60 grams of fat, I'm going to lose all the weight I want and maintain it. It doesn't work that way because there are so many other factors in your life that affect your progress. Your stress, your sleep, your environment, your consistency, your water intake, the things you put in your body, what you put on your skin. There are so many things that affect your weight loss journey. Your movement, right? So again, and then also too, if you're eating out, it is impossible to eat out and count macros. It's impossible to go to a birthday party and count macros. Vacation, forget it. There it goes out the window. So it's really hard to do long term unless you live in your house and don't eat out. And some people do that. You know what? Some of you guys know this. I used to work with bikini competitors. Okay, I worked at this gym in Delray, Florida, and a lot of girls, did bikini shows, and they all counted macros. But for 16 weeks, guess what? They're not eating out. They're bringing their Tupperwares to parties. Do you guys want that life? I don't. I've never done a show, and I never will, because that is all nutrition and super strict, and I'm not interested. I'm interested in food freedom. I want to know how I can have wine, how I can have pasta if I want it, if I want to, go out with my friends and not worry about what I'm eating, that's what I want. So what do you guys want? That's important to me. And that's why people come to CMW. That's important to them. The truth about macronutrients, okay, is, like I said, even if you do find the perfect gram count, let's say it works for you. Let's say you do it for a month. You are religious about your macros, okay? The numbers I just went over, I just made those up, but whatever yours are, okay? Unless you're 100% consistent, is not the long-term solution, okay? Maybe you want to lose, 5-8 pounds. Yeah, of course. Like, counting macros can totally help you make that little bit of a change. And it's normal for a woman's weight, for example, to fluctuate 1 to 3 pounds, on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So like for minor weight loss, sure. Count it. Like if I wanted to lose 5 pounds, I could count macros and I would lose it in a week. Okay. Maybe 2 weeks. Let's be serious. And probably drink a little less wine. But like for the long term, it's not great. Okay. But I can guarantee you, and this is why our clients in CMW are super successful, is because they finally understand what macronutrients are. Oh, I didn't realize that cauliflower has a decent amount of carbs. Nuts, wow, I didn't have any idea, or I thought nuts were a protein. I thought that was a great source of protein, but I just realized it's way more of a fat source. I thought chickpeas were an important protein source, or I thought quinoa was a great protein source. I didn't know it was mostly a carbohydrate. Way more of a carbohydrate than a protein. Does that mean chickpeas and beans or quinoa are bad? No, not at all. But yes, it's way more of a carb. And for my plant-based eaters, if you're vegan, vegetarian, whatever, and you're looking for more protein sources, and we're turning to nuts and seeds and legumes, again, you're eating way more carbs than you probably need. And that's where CMW can come in and get you clarity on some better protein sources for you so you can see weight loss and still be really healthy. Health first, weight loss second, both with strategy. Okay. So again, the truth about macro counting, it only works if you're like 100% consistent, no breaks, no BS, and it'll work for like a couple of months if you're like not eating out ever. Otherwise, it's unsustainable. And if you disagree with me, go ahead and comment below. I'd love to hear your story, your experience. Change my mind about it. I'm just sharing from my experience, clients I've worked with, friends and family, clients of mine that have done it and their experience, the science. I've known women that did the macro counting, all these things, and their hormones got all messed up. Again, I'm just sharing from this experience, but I'd love to know yours. If you are looking to really understand macronutrients and learn food for you and your body, I 100% encourage you to get some help with that. Okay, because again, like you can go online and search for macro calculators, and even if after watching my video you're still hell-bent on counting macros, go try 3 different macro calculators and see all 3 different numbers. And you're gonna see these crazy skewed carb counts or calories you need per day, and you're like, I can't even eat that much. It's miserable, okay? If you wanna understand nutrition for your body and your goals, I encourage you to reach out to me for some help, okay? I'm just launched this, actually today we sent an email out. We're launching a special group coaching program. Because even if you're not ready for one-on-one support, or you're not, it's on your budget right now, for example, we're doing this awesome program called the Summer Sizzle. It's 8 weeks, and we're teaching our CMW nutritional protocol, which actually teaches macronutrients and how to actually incorporate all of them into your diet in a way that supports your goals and your activity level. We're teaching you about food labels. We're teaching you about the best workouts for your goals, the kind of movement you really need to see results, and all in an 8-week time frame. So it's perfect for summer. All right, I'll drop the link to that below. Or if you really want some more one-on-one support, I'll drop the link to schedule a call with me and give you some more clarity, because I'm sure I just threw so much knowledge at you and you're like, oh my God. And my job is to educate, but more importantly, I want to change your life. I want to help you transform. Okay, so if you want to transform, I'll drop 2 links down 2 different ways you can get some support and truly understand, not just count, macronutrients for you and your goals. All right? Have an awesome Tuesday, you guys. Drop any questions you have if you didn't get to watch the live, and I'll see if I can answer them later today. All right?